What's going on, everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and we are battling for GBA D League Season number 4, Week number 4, up against Randy HLD Productions, the coach of the Texas Pokemon Rangers. Definitely be sure to go ahead and check him out down below in the description. He's definitely a very good battler. He actually made the finals last season, and the Week 4 team builder, which went up yesterday, will actually be down there as well. Highly recommend you check that out too if you have missed it and do want to know more about the team that I am bringing this week. But before we get into the battle, there are a quick few things that I did want to address. The first thing is, you may actually notice that there are a few strange looking turns in this match, and the reason for that is me and Randy actually ended up disconnecting twice, and the disconnects were my fault, so thanks to Randy for being understanding and allowing me to recreate the match right here. But pretty much we had to redo the match on Wi-Fi, and we had to manipulate the turns to make it so that it looked like the original game, so that's why you may see a few doubles, you may see a few odd plays, and I'll go ahead and explain those as we go through the battle right now. And let's go ahead and look at team preview right here. The idea of the team that I'm bringing is it's just a Volt turn into Hoop on Bound offense. He's definitely very susceptible to that. The only actual switch in he has to a Hyperspace Fury is that Skuntank, which is definitely very scary because it does outspeed me and can carry Pursuit, and obviously with the Hyperspace Fury defense drop, that could be a pretty big factor in this match right here. But if we can lure that Mamoswine with our Yachi Berry Landorus Incarnate with Grass Knot, we can actually get free Volt switches around his entire team with Circuitry, which is earning Choice Scarf, so that's definitely looking very great. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea. We do also have U-turn on our Manaphy, so just U-turn and Volt switch into Hoop on Bound, get as many kills as we can, and maybe try to sweep with something like Choice Scarf Pyro at the end. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so getting into this game right now, I decided to go ahead and lead off with my Manaphy right here, and the reason for that is it can sponge a Fake Out from the Mega Lopunny pretty easily, and if you did want to try and lead off with this Mamoswine to try to get up early rocks, we could have dealt with that with Surf as well. So he's going to lead off with this Mega Lopunny right here, which is totally fine with me. As I did say, we can take the Fake Out pretty easily, and we do have leftovers recovery, which is definitely working for us right now. So he's going to go ahead and Mega Evolve and go ahead and just throw off the Fake Out, as I said, and that's going to do a pretty sizable chunk right here. I believe it brings me down to 171, yeah. And we're going to go ahead and get leftovers recovery right now. And recover some health right here, as he's going to go ahead and pull a switch out. I decided to make the pretty obvious Surf play. I could have Tail Glowed right here, but had he been Specs Latios, that actually would have been able to Oko me from this range, so I figured just going for the damage in case he wanted to stay in and try to hide jump kick me was definitely the better option, because had I Tail Glowed and he stayed in, he actually would have 2-hit KO'd me too, so didn't want to make that early game risk as much as it would have paid off right here, because he actually does reveal to be a leftover, so really unfortunate that I didn't go for the Tail Glow right there, but I can go ahead and switch out now and bring in my Registeel, which I know can take this thing on. I didn't want to take a Draco or a T-Bolt with my Manaphy right there, just because I do want to keep that healthy for the Mamoswine. He's going to go for the T-Bolt right here and get a Paralysis. Now originally the Paralysis did not actually end up happening, and you'll see what we did to kind of manipulate the game to make it so that the Paralysis does not end up mattering at all. So he's going to go ahead and switch out right here, obviously not wanting to take a T-Wave or anything, but I actually throw off the Toxic, which I figured was a good mid-ground in case he wanted to stay in. We get the Toxic off on Mamoswine right here, but we actually missed. Now originally I hit the Toxic, but pretty much what we're going to do is replicate this right here by him spamming Ice Shard until I actually connect the Toxic. You will actually see that him actually taking this Life Orb damage and me taking the Ice Shard damage does not actually make a difference in the end result right now. So he's just going to spam Ice Shard until I do get the Toxic off, which I believe I do this turn coming up right now. Yep, we throw off the Toxic and we are able to hit it. So now we're pretty much in the same position. Obviously both of our Mons are weaker, but it will not make a difference, as you will see later throughout the match. So now that we're back in the same position, I'm going to go ahead and make the play that I originally made, and go ahead and switch out here into my Manaphy, which I know can take this thing on. We do take 2 Earthquakes even though he's Life Orb, which is definitely very nice, and we can go ahead and get some momentum right here. He's going to go for the Earthquake right here, and it does a very high amount of damage. It actually puts me in the yellow, but thanks to leftovers recovery, we will actually be put out of range of the next Earthquake right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause it here after the leftovers recovery happens. This next turn, I figured the Latios would be pretty no drawback because I am in range of T-Bolt right now, and he takes less than 50% from an Ice Beam, which is definitely very great for him. So you guys will see it's kind of a 50-50 right now because he really needs the Mamoswine to prevent me from spamming electric moves with my Circuitry. So I was really expecting him to go Latios right here, but you will actually see he actually opts to just go ahead and just stay in an Earthquake right here. And I do pack the U-turn, and that is actually what I'm going to click right now. Had I surfed, we would have been in a great position with our Circuitry, but unfortunately, this does not end up working out right now because if at any point he gets up rocks, we're going to be in range of those two. A U-turn out right here, and pretty much I wanted to U-turn out on the Latios and get in my Hoop on Bound, and pretty much just claim him on. But good play on his part, just earthquaking. Got to go out here into my Pyro and try to revenge kill this with the Hyper Voice right now. As that is exactly what I'm going to go ahead and try to do. He's going to get worn down by poison, and he's going to go ahead and switch out right now into his Latios, which is pretty unfortunate because you will actually see this Latios is very bulky, definitely has some HP investment, and Hyper Voice is going to come off and do below 50%. So he's going to get lefties, and I really can't stay in right here. For all I know, he's Calm Mind, and I'm locked into Hyper Voice, so I really can't do this right now. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a really offensive switch right here into my Hoopa Unbound. And you'll see this actually ends up working out perfectly for me because I wanted to get in Hoopa Unbound on Celesteela, and that's actually the play he's going to opt to make right now, kind of coincidentally, because that's how I prepare this team, try to get in Hoopa Unbound on Celesteela, and just claim kills with Hyperspace Fury, because we live in any offensive move, and as you guys will see right here, he's actually a defensive set, and this is going to do a very sizable chunk of damage, as he's just going to go ahead and lead sheet me right here, which I'm really not too worried about. And obviously he can pivot out into that Skuntank right now, and that would be pretty scary because he's going to be able to Pursuit Trap me, and after that defense drop, that is definitely pretty scary right now. So he's going to get Leftovers Recovery and get some lead sheet, but I'm totally fine with that. The Celesteela is definitely very weakened right now. And Hoopa Unbound did what I wanted it to. It fired off that Hyperspace Fury to weaken this. Obviously its job is not done, and I don't want it to go down right now to the Skuntank, so I go ahead and double out here into my Landorus Incarnate, as we end up getting this prediction right here correct as well, which is definitely very great. He brings out the Skuntank right now, and now we can either just go right for the U-turn, predicting a switch out, or we can go right here for the Stealthorox. Now I'll go ahead and opt to make the Stealthorox play right now, just because if at any point Mega Lopunny does opt to come back in, it'll actually be put in range of my Choice Scarf, Dazzling Gleam from Circuitry, so that's kind of what I decided to do right now. As he's going to go ahead and just go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and switch out right here and switch out into my Registeel. Now I go ahead and sack off my Manaphy first because there's no reason to let Registeel take any damage. He's going to go for the Fake Out and just knock me out, which is totally fine. This thing would have died to hazards if he ever got those up anyway, but now I can go ahead and switch out here into my Registeel, as I said. And we do pack a Choppleberry, which is definitely very nice right now. And pretty much he doesn't want to get T-Waved or anything with this, or Toxic, so he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Rotom Heat right now. But he'll probably just get off a Defog and get rid of the hazards right now, because he does want to keep his Mega Lopunny at full health. As I just go ahead and throw off a Seismic Toss right now, which is great. This thing is getting weakened for my Scarf, Dazzling Gleam Sweep, which is definitely looking like a very great win condition at this point. Just got to weaken this thing and get rid of that Celesteela and weaken Skuntank, so definitely looking very good. I go out here into my Pyro just because it's the one thing that can actually take an Overheat, in case that's what he opted to do instead of defogging, but this is totally fine. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it here one more time because this is kind of another series. It's kind of like a 33, 33, 33. The plays are he either stays in and just dies, but Dark Pulse will actually not be able to knock him out. He goes Latios to take the Hyper Voice, or he goes Celesteela and sacks that off since it has low health. Now, he showed last time that Latios was his initial switch in. Now, I do know that it's a very specially defensive Celesteela based on how he's played it, but I really am expecting him to go out into the Latios right now because I figured he might want to try to preserve the Celesteela just for Dazzling Gleam Sweep. But you'll actually see this is a prediction that I actually end up getting wrong right now. He's going to go ahead and switch out here into his Celesteela, which is definitely unfortunate, as I did opt to go for the Dark Pulse trying to catch the Latios coming in right now. In all honesty, I had no reason to not Hyper Voice because Hyper Voice should have 2-hit KO'd the Latios anyway, but that would have done even less to this. So good play going Celesteela. I probably should have clicked the Fire type move, but had he gone into Latios and just roosted up with that thing, that would have been pretty bad. So I'm forced out right here. I can't knock this thing out, as obviously he's going to Leech Seed to try to get some health back right now, and Celesteela is just going to sit in here doing Celesteela things. And this is where getting rid of that Mamoswine earlier and getting that prediction wrong with the U-turn versus Surf play would have been really big, because had that Mamoswine been gone right now, I could have just spammed Volt Twitch right now until he gave me the momentum right here, because he wouldn't have had a ground type. But now I decided to go for the Volt Switch anyway. He's going to protect a Scat my move. Now the thing is, he doesn't know I'm locked in. I know I'm locked in, but for all he knows, I have the Energy Ball and I will outspeed the Mamoswine, because I already saw Life Orb and he knows that. So he's actually, as you guys will see, is going to opt to I guess we'll wait for it. He's just going to go ahead and get some Leech recovery. Still in range of my Volt Switch right now, which is very great. If he goes Mamoswine right now and he gets a kill, it's pretty much game over. I would be down 6-4 and this thing would be too healthy to deal with, but thankfully he opts to stay in right here and sack off the Celesteela, so we're definitely not out of this game yet because we got that play right. And we're able to get a Beast Boost, but it's not going to matter. We Volt Switched out of here. And we're going to be able to go ahead and Volt Switch out and just bring out our Registeel right now, definitely the most expendable Mon. And we do still have our Choppleberry intact in case we do want to lure the Lopunny in, which he is going to go out into right now, which is definitely very great for me. Now, Ideally, we don't get fully paralyzed because the para did not happen earlier, but he's going to go right here for the Drain Punch. We eat up our Choppleberry, which is very great, but Drain Punch was actually a really good prep on his part because this thing is going to be at a very nice amount of health, as you will see after this exchange. I go for the S-Toss, and it's pretty much going to be meaningless because he's going to pretty much Drain Punch all that other health back after this right now. So goes right to the Drain Punch again, and I had no reason to preserve Registeel. Even though he's going to get recovery back, there's really no reason to switch it out right now. So he gets his Mega Lopunny all the way back up to above 90%, which is pretty bad, but it's still in Scarf Dazzle range. But it's a roll, so I decided to go out here into my Landers first and try to get some U-turn chip damage on this thing to try to put it in range of Scarf Dazzling Gleam 100%, because that is my win condition at this point. Scarf Dazzling Gleam is really great. We did get rid of Celesteela, Mega Latios, oh not Mega Latios, regular Latios is in range. This thing is in range, and the Rotom Heat is very weak too, so Scarf Dazzling Gleam is looking very threatening. I decided to go out here into my Xurkitree, obviously, because with that U-turn chip damage, this thing is in range of Dazzling Gleam now. And he pretty much just has to pick right here, as he's going to go ahead and go out into the Skunk Tank, which can definitely take me on. Thankfully, you guys will actually see right here, I got my Dazzling Gleam off. It won't do a ton, but he actually opts to not go ahead and pursue it this next turn, which is very big for me, because this is my win con, and I need it out of range of Fake Out plus Quick Attack and Ice Shard from Mamoswine. So we get in our Landers right here, just second off to the Foul Play, which is totally fine. And pretty much, I'm kind of hoping he chokes right here and stays in, as I get damage off with Hoopa, because that means the Scarf Dazzling Gleam sweep is definitely possible, because this is the last thing that's not in range right now. So go right here for the Hyperspace Fury, as he does opt to stay in, which is really great for me. We get off a ton of damage. Obviously, we will be going down right now, but I'm really not too worried about it. He's going to go right here for the Foul Play, which will knock me out after the defense drop. Had I gone for Ice Punch, Foul Play knocked me out anyway, so really not that big of a difference. Foul Play is going to go ahead and knock me out right now. As what I do right here is just bring out my Power. Hope he stays in and just lets this thing go. It is in range of my Xurkitree now, so I really am expecting him to just let it go down. But what's going to happen right here is he's going to stay in and go for Sucker Punches, which is definitely a good play. Wear me down for the Mamoswine as well as the Lopunny, as I go right here for the Hyper Voice, and pretty much he has no reason to switch this thing out now. It's definitely in range of Xurkitree, it's in range of this. So he just goes for the Sucker Punch again. He could have tried to switch it out, maybe Sucker Punched my Xurkitree later, but I'm going to go ahead and Hyper Voice and knock that thing out. And now the Scarf Dazzling Gleam Sweep is definitely looking very real. The last thing in between me and that are priority attacks, Fake Out / Quick Attack from Mega Lopunny and Ice Shard from Mamoswine. So Mega Lop is going to come out right now. I switch out because if he is Scarf Rotom, this is the one thing that can take that thing on, since we will outspeed with our choice Scarfs, and he really has no reason not to Fake Out right here. He is in the front, so he goes for the Fake Out, and had he high Jump Kicked or Drain Punched right there, it would have been GG, but there was no reason for him to make that play. So he's going to go ahead and switch out right here into his Rotom Heat, and I'll go ahead and pause it after this turn. You will see that this Dazzling Gleam is indeed a 2-hit KO right now. Now the problem with this is if he is Scarf Rotom Heat, he will actually 2-hit KO my Pyroar, and while I can knock him out, he will win with the combination of Fake Out plus Ice Shard from Mamoswine. So I really have no option but to stay in right here and hope he's not Choice Scarf, so that way I can actually take him on right now. So if he is Scarf Overheat and he does connect it, then he will actually be able to win the match no matter what. So I have to stay in here and just scout for the Scarf, as he does go right here for the Choice Scarf Overheat. He ends up missing, but in the original game he did hit. So I'm able to knock him out right now, but what we're going to actually end up doing right now is replicate the match right now. So he's obviously going to bring out the Mega Lopunny to Fake Out, and we're going to try to make it so that we're in the exact same position that we were in before right now, so where my Xurkitree is dead, and it's Pyroar versus Lopunny at the end right now. So I go ahead and go right here into he's going to bring out his Manaphy, Mega Lopunny, and go ahead and go right here for the Fake Out, and bring me down, and pretty much originally my Xurkitree was dead, so what we're going to actually do right here is just double out, and he's going to go ahead and switch out here into his Latios as I bring in my Pyroar, and then we're actually going to go ahead and double out again, as you will see. So he goes ahead and switch out right here, brings out into his Latios, which actually looks really beautiful on Citra. I've actually never realized that, but Latios is going to come out right now, which obviously the leftovers recovery is not going to end up mattering. As I'm just going to go ahead and switch back out here into my Xurkitree, which should be fainted at this point in the match, and he's just going to go ahead and go back here into his Mega Lopunny, which will be able to Fake Out me again and take me on. So pretty much we made that series of plays just to replicate the original match, because he did miss the overheat right there. And at this point it's GG. He is going to be taking the 3-0 victory right now, because there's no way my Pyroar can take out the this Mon right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just go right here for the Hyper Voice, try to crit him. Maybe he doesn't have a ton of bulk, but you guys will actually see right here, this Hyper Voice is going to come off, and not even a crit would have been able to knock him out. Pyroar is just not that strong, but Hyper Voice comes out right now, he's going to be able to live and just knock me out with the Drain Punch right now. So definitely an unfortunate ending. I definitely feel as though we could have played a lot more offensively and maybe come out with a win right here. A big play was obviously that Tail Glow play all the way back at the beginning of the match. Had I Tail Glowed on the Latios switching instead of Surf, we would have been able to do some work with Manaphy all the way back at the beginning. But unfortunately, I did not know the real specs at that point in the match, and that definitely would have held me back had he switched in a specs Latios. So GG to Randy right there. Definitely very well played. Congratulations on the win. He moves on to 2-2. We are now 0-4, but I definitely still plan on trying to bring the season back. And I decided to save this bit for the end. We are actually making some free agent transactions. I believe they're being covered on the GBA channel. I think today maybe, but if not, later in the week. So GBA channel will be down below in the description too. Be sure to go ahead and tune into that if you do want to see what we free agented off our team and what we decided to pick up. And yeah, next week we face the Detroit Butterfrees, coached by Zazo Iron Flash Gaming. Definitely going to be a very good match to look forward to. I'm going to try to beat him, since he did say that if he takes more than 3 losses, that means his season is going to be considered a failure. And he's 2-2 right now, so if we beat him, he's going to take that 3rd loss. So ideally, we get to make that happen. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the match either way, despite the fact that we lost. And yeah, see you guys next week. Later.